Hey, good morning. I'm going to try and make up some breakfast sandwiches today. So we're going to start with the keto bread, which we used to make pizza dough last time. So it's essentially the same thing, only I won't be adding any Italian spices to it this time. So you have your garlic powder, your baking powder, pink sea salt. I'm going to use 5 tablespoons of butter, 1 egg, coconut flour, almond flour, and I add some chia seeds. It's not in the general recipe, but I've been adding it lately. It adds a nice flavor, and it's really good for you. Uh, you also have 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese, and I add some Parmesan, not on the recipe, but I always add it because it tastes good. And then I'm going to be frying up some bacon as well. Actually, I got 2 sets of bacon. I got the thin bacon here, and that's for the sandwiches. And then I got some thicker bacon because later today I'm going to be making up shrimp Alfredo, and I'm going to add some chopped up bacon to that when I make it. We're going to use the spiralizer for the zucchini noodles. It'll be fun. But I'm going to go ahead and toss the bacon in the oven now. So it starts cooking. You set that guy to 350, and I generally go for about 15 minutes, and then I start checking it. I like mine crispy. Cook it according to your taste. All right, so in here we have together all the dry ingredients, and I'm just going to sift that into the bowl. Get this out of the way. And again, you sift it just to keep the big particles out. You don't want any big chunks of flour or specific seasoning. And then once I get it in the bowl, I mix it up again. You can see my baking powder's got a little clumpy. Just use my hands here to mash that through the sifter. Some good old chunks of baking powder. Must be humid in here. I can't believe it. It's like 5 degrees outside. Probably dry as heck. Anyway, so that's done. And then I'll mix that together real good. And then in the pot, we got our cheese melting. So there's 5 tablespoons of butter and our mozzarella and Parmesan cheese in there. And just keep mixing it. Eventually it'll get like a Play-Doh texture. And when that happens, you're good to add your dry mix, and then go ahead and add the egg after you turn the heat off. And our cheese is getting close. Doesn't look so appetizing right now, but what happens is that butter sort of incorporates, and you end up with, like I say, nice Play-Doh. And then we'll add the dry mix in, stir it till we get a nice consistency, turn the heat off, and we will add our 1 big egg, and I knead it by hand. Put that out on some parchment paper and roll it up between 2 pieces of parchment paper till we get it the thickness we want. Today we're going to leave it a little bit thicker because we're making the breakfast sandwiches, and then we'll make up those sandwiches. Alright, so we just add in a little bit more of the dry and just mix it in there so it gets good and incorporated. Probably point that over the actual pan. So if you did this before, you know that the dough came out real kind of a light sandy brown. With the chia seeds, it is a little much darker, and it has more of a cementy looking taste, or not taste but look to it. It does turn out nice. And sometimes I add more or less, but I try not to add it all at one time. You end up spending your whole time getting rid of glops. Oh, my bacon is done. I'm gonna pause. So I've added in the egg. I've mixed it in pretty good. Not as good as I can get it this way. So I'm going to take it out, stick it on my parchment paper, and knead it by hand. Alright, so I'm not sure how that's showing up on video, but it looks really good in real life. I just hand Forgot the word. And I now I'm going to add another piece of parchment paper over the top and use my rolling pin to roll it out. Let's check that bacon again. Ooh, that's looking good. All right. Give that just a second to cook off, and then I will take it out. I'm going to roll this out with a rolling pin underneath a second piece of parchment paper to the thickness I want, and then we'll start forming the shapes for the sandwiches. So you can see I put a second sheet of parchment paper over the top, and I'm just rolling it out. Can't obviously do it with just one hand, but you can see the shape is kind of coming. So I'm going to give it a little bit more so it's a little bit thinner than it is right now. You can see where it's at now. I'm going to make it just a touch thinner. Then I will start making the shapes for our sandwiches. Alright, so I cut one piece just so you can see, so that'll fold over and then you pinch the corners, sort of like a turnover. I'm getting ready to make the ingredients for the eggs, so I got 4 eggs. There's 4 of us. You can have as many eggs as you want. There's no restriction on that. Frying up a couple sausage patties because Aubrey and Maria both like cheese and sausage, so they're going to have sausage and cheddar in theirs. Aubrey also likes some green peppers and stuff, so I might chop some of that up and toss it in. Whatever you normally put in an egg or an omelet can go inside there. Just has to fit inside the size of the pocket you make. There's the parchment paper for cooking, and then our bacon came out nice. Some of this is for later on for the Alfredo, but shrimp Alfredo, but I'm going to put some of the bacon in. Christina likes bacon and American cheese. Don't use American cheese, it's not good for you. But she likes that, and so I'll make it for her. And then I'm going to do cheddar and bacon in mine. So I just have this cheese. Usually I shred it fresh, but I got to use this stuff up. And then I'm going to make, I should have some extra, oh, I have to take out another egg. I'm going to do a ham and cheese one as well. So I will get those going. I'll show you putting one together and popping them in the oven. So you see I fried up some breakfast sausages. I'm going to grab a little bit of bacon fat. You know I save my bacon fat to just for stuff like this. Throw that there. This guy. No. Use it just like butter. And I'm going to do a scramble up my eggs. So I just put in some salt, pepper, a little bit of cream, and whisked it up real good. 4 eggs. If I need more, I'll make more. If I need less, I will eat eggs on the side. But the heat's not high enough. It's too high. There we go. Throw my eggs in. And then I'm just going to scramble those up like I normally do. And then I will start filling pockets. Alright, so I scrambled those up. Remember to slightly under-scramble them because they're going to continue to cook in the oven. So if they're a little bit wet, that's alright. Just have to make sure that they don't run out of the bread when you're putting it in. That's it. Other than that, it'll cook up just fine inside the oven. And again, our oven is set to 350. Alright, so I'm going to attempt to fill one of these on camera with one hand. So just put the egg in there. Come on, let go. You probably go a little bit more egg. But try and get the bottom kind of covered. Oops, sorry. Get the bottom covered, leaving just a little bit around the edge. And I'm going to make this one. Just going to add one little bit more. Fill that in. All right. So you can see it's not a ton of egg. You can make as much as you want, fat as you want, skinny as you want. It's totally up to you. This one is going to be Christina. No, this one is going to be I gotta pause. I can't get to my stuff. Okay, so I added the cheddar cheese on top. I couldn't get the bag open. I'm holding the phone. And then I'm gonna just toss on a nice not sure what happened there, but all right. I'm going to use my fingers to pinch off the edges, and that'll be ready to go. All right, so I tried. So the first one I tried, it got really difficult to fold the edges over. I marked it with an A for Aubrey. And then the second one I tried, got a little bit neater, but I found it was really difficult to keep the edges, so I used a folding method. So I only had to do 3 sides as opposed to the whole thing. And then I think I got the next one a little bit better. But again, I was finding that it just didn't seem to want to stay seamed up. So then what I did is I put everything in, and I just used my hands and reformed the whole dough ball around the egg. And there's the egg and bacon in that one, sausage and cheese in that one, American cheese and bacon and eggs in that one, and then that one sausage, cheddar, and eggs. And then I'm just going to cook the rest of it as bread. And then I got a little bit of leftover eggs, which I'll just eat. All right, I'm going to throw these in the oven, and we'll see how they go. Oh, sorry. I gotta fork these guys, or they'll puff up like crazy. Also, if you use chia seeds, remember they're very absorbent, so they sucked up a lot of the moisture because of the time it took for me to get from point A to point B on this. So you can add a little more butter or water. Might help it a little bit. I'm going to set that for 15 minutes. And we just check them. I just want to make sure they don't burn on the bottom. If at 15 minutes looks like the bottoms are getting darker, I'll flip it over. All right. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes, and it looks like the bread part is done. I'm going to take those off. But the sandwiches, oh, that's funny. Her A came out real clear. Look like they can go a bit longer. So I'm just going to, I recommend you use we had conjoining. I recommend you use a utensil. I'm going to, that burnt crap out of my hands. Get myself a spatula. I'm just going to remove those. They look done. But these look like they can go a little bit longer. So I'm going to flip them. Turned out good. Flip them. The K is barely visible. But they didn't seem to blow up too much. We didn't seem to lose any of the insides. But the bread, I rolled it way too thick. You could roll it, I would say, almost twice as thin. So it's probably a little bit better than an eighth. You could go underneath an 1/8 inch, I'm thinking, but just roll a little bit thinner because those are going to be pretty doughy, pretty bready. They'll be filling and they look tasty. So I'm going to throw that in for another 5-6 minutes, and that should be doing it. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. So we did 4 Pop-Tarts. We did 4 of the egg sandwiches. They look pretty good. None of them opened up, so my worry about the edges not coming together was maybe a little bit unwarranted, but they turned out really nice. Don't tell everybody I touched their food with my hands. And this is the one I just did as a bread dough. So these will sit and cool for a little while anyway. And then I'm going to flip them over so you can see who's. And then I'll try one out. And I'm going to try one of the, see, I already bit it. It's really, really good. It's crispy and really tasty. I'm very pleased with the way the flavor came out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give one a shot. This is a bacon, unceremoniously plop it on the plate. No presentation skills whatsoever. This is bacon and egg and cheese. Just gonna. Normally I would just bite right into it, but I want to see how it looks. So cut it in half. Transfer hands here. Oh, it looks pretty. Need to give it a little bit more of a cut. That's what it looks like. Could have used more cheese, I think. I love cheese. Give it a bite. Oh, it's very good. Yeah. The only drawback on this one is the bread was a bit too thick. So you could thin that bread down. You'll roll it thinner, get more sandwiches for one thing. And, oh, it's very tasty though. All right. I'll package this guy up and send it to you.